A group of 34 South Africans have been stranded in Morocco due to the COVID-19 flight restrictions. According to Kwena Moabelo, the group range between 30 and 60 years in age with various medical needs and challenging economic circumstances. Kwena now joins us via Skype from Morocco. Thanks so much indeed for joining us, Kwena, and I can imagine how frustrating it must be for you, particularly on a day where the country should be celebrating Freedom Day and you're stuck away from home.
Definitely. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you. It is Freedom Day, and unfortunately we are in lockdown here in Morocco. It's a foreign country. We'd love to be home, but unfortunately we're still stuck here. We're trying to find a way to get home.
So how did you end up being stuck there? What took you to Morocco in the first instance, and did events take over very quickly before you could get out?
Yeah, unfortunately, I came here on holiday and also to get engaged, and it was definitely a happy time for me. But unfortunately, the minute I landed, I got news that there's a lockdown and we're not able to fly out, and so I had to then make means to stay here for a little while.
All right, so are you stuck there with your fiancée?
Yes and no. She lives with parents, and I live just close to where they live. I rented an apartment close to where she is.
Right. Did you get to ask her at least?
Yeah, well, I got the girl. That's the good thing.
Okay, so she said yes.
Yes, she said yes.
Wonderful. Now the trick is to come back home. What is the DIRCO and the embassy saying about repatriation? Is there a possibility that this might happen soon?
Well, look, we're not really getting that much information from DIRCO, so I don't really know. And the group that I've come together with here in Morocco, we don't really know too much information, but we've decided not to focus too much on the past, and we are focusing on the future, trying to get home as much as possible. We're looking at various opportunities. We're still trying to engage with DIRCO to hopefully facilitate our repatriation, but at the same time, we're working on various other options. There is one option that we are looking at. It's a privately chartered flight with SEME. But as you can imagine, with these types of situations, when it's a private flight, it is quite expensive, and so we do need support potentially in helping us sort of cover the gaps. And if we had some kind of donors, it would definitely assist.
How are you coping? I would imagine that you go there on a budget for a certain period of time, and then once these days start rolling over, it starts to really bite.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the biggest issue. So money is the biggest challenge. You come here planning to only be in this country for a week or two. We've been here for 6 weeks now, so it stretches you financially. And I know that some of us are in better situations than others. Some people are definitely really running out of money and need support. They need help as soon as possible. So I'm hopefully coping to some extent. And I'm also lucky because I do have a newfound family here who are also helping me with food and various other supplies. So my situation is not so bad, but there's other people that are really in desperate and vulnerable situations.
About how many of you are stuck there, and how are you managing to talk to each other?
There's 34 of us. Very early on, probably the first week, we managed to come together into a WhatsApp group, and people have been coming on board since then. So there's a total of 34. We scattered all over Morocco. Most of the people are in Casablanca, and there's also some people in Marrakesh and Tangier. But the large portion of people are in Casablanca and in Marrakesh. So we just communicate as much as possible on the WhatsApp group. We try and keep our spirits up as much as possible. And hopefully, we can get home together. Unfortunately, we're not able to see each other because obviously there is a lockdown here as well, and we live in different places.
And how are people doing? Is everybody healthy?
Well, as far as I know, not everyone is healthy, because we do have some people with chronic sort of conditions here. We've got, for example, somebody with diabetes. I know somebody also has a hearing problem, and they need certain types of equipment. So, not all of us are healthy. Some people are healthy, others are not. Some are a bit elderly. I know we've got some people in the 60s as well. So I think the health condition varies. And mentally, I can't really tell you. But as you can imagine, this is something that is quite negative for a mental state. And so I'm sure mentally a lot of people are struggling.
And this makes it all the more pressing to get everybody home. Have the Moroccan authorities been able to help and offer any kind of assistance?
Not really. I mean, we've been in touch in the past with the embassy here. I'm sure when they were trying to organize one or two things, they did engage with the Moroccan authorities. I did get confirmation at some stage that it is possible to repatriate people from Morocco, which means that the officials have agreed to it happening. But other than that, I don't have too much information.
All right. And then perhaps just your final message to anybody who might be watching and listening. What do you need to say to people?
So we've made every effort to come home, including, as I said, exploring chartered flights. And yet we're still stuck in Morocco. And so I suppose we need two things. The first thing is we need support in engaging DIRCO to facilitate our repatriation as soon as possible, or if somebody is willing to assist in being a donor towards assisting us in covering the gap of the required funding for a private flight.
All right, Kwena, we certainly wish you the best of luck, and let's hope we get you and your fiancé home. Don't forget to invite us to the wedding.
Yes, thank you very much. We appreciate this opportunity.
All right,
it will be the first time.
Take care, my brother. That's Kwena Moabelo, who's stuck in Morocco with 34 other South Africans, trying to find a way home desperately. And not everybody is doing well. Some elderly people there, and people with diabetes. So if you can assist, that would be very welcome from that group. And there are more than 1,500 people around the world that are stuck in various parts of the world. Indonesia was one that we looked at not so long ago, and they're hoping to get a plane to come back on the 1st of April, and 1st of May. And what the challenge there is, they've got to fill the plane. So I believe that they've got to get another 100 people on that plane by tomorrow. So if you've got relatives and people in that region, Indonesia, New Zealand, I think, and maybe Australia, if you can get on this plane that's been arranged, book, and you might be on your way home.